Alright, I have a bunch of Coarse Real5x5 prints, and I'm going to get them started in the tumbler. So that's one print, two prints, three prints, four, five, six. Alrighty, and then this one is my own print. 7. And then some special 3x3x3 edge pieces that don't have the indentation, 24 of those. And then a bunch of spare parts. So we have just about 8 prints worth in the tumbler. I don't know, the tumbler's pretty full, it seems like a lot, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to start by putting Coarse grit here in the tumbler. This Coarse grit is a range of coarseness from around 40 to around 90. Cramped space here. Alrighty. Use my vacuum here. When I start this, a large amount of dust will come off, and I'm going to vacuum it up. So already not enough grit. I think I have the tumbler too full. Try adding some more coarse grit. But I think I'd have it too full. Normally I'd like to see faster churn than this. I think it'll actually work. It's just going to tumble them very slowly because there's very slow churning motion. And that's because the tumbler's too full. And I can't add more grit to fill this in because there needs to be a lower portion around the center and then a higher portion around the edges. That's what causes the toroidal vortex in the first place. And if I add any more grit, then it'll just be level and it won't be able to churn at all. So there's just too many parts in this tumbler. I bet if I just took out one puzzle, it would probably do better. The issue is to take out one puzzle, I have to go take the bowl off, screen a bunch of parts, individually count 8 of these and 24 of these and 1 of these, and so on and so forth, to make sure that I have exactly one puzzle worth out. If I just scoop at random and take some random parts out, then there's a chance that I will have taken out, say, 2 or 3 cores, or I'll take out 9 edges, or excuse me, 9 corners, and then I won't be able to assemble 2 instead of only not being able to assemble 1. But I don't think it's tumbling so badly that I can't go with this as is, but it's definitely overloaded. So I put about 8 puzzles worth in the tumbler this time. I definitely can't put more than 7 puzzles worth in the tumbler next time I do it, and this batch is probably going to tumble a lot slower. Now, I have noticed that the fine grit, I can have the tumbler at this level of loading with fine grit, and it still churns very, very well, very aggressively. The problem is the fine grit causes parts to wear unevenly, so I can't tumble it in the fine grit for very long. So I'll probably have to keep it in this coarse grit, going at this really slow space for minimum 7 days, up to maybe 14 days. We'll see how. I'll have to check on the pieces and see how well they're wearing. But since it's going really slow, it's more likely to be up, around 14 days. And then I'll probably tumble them for a day or two in the fine grit, and then I'll move to the porcelain. And this level of loading might also cause problems for the porcelain. And the porcelain's not one of those things where I have an option to just tumble it slower. If it doesn't work, it just doesn't work in the porcelain. It just won't churn. And without churn in the porcelain doesn't work. So this is unfortunate. I did overload it, but I didn't overload it so much that I absolutely have to take some pieces out. So I'm going to try to go with it as is, and then I'll check on them. And if I have to in a couple of days, if I've decided that it's just not wearing right, or it's wearing too slowly, then I'll take some pieces out and I'll just have to tumble 7 instead of 8 puzzles here. So it is what it is. I will start the tumbler back up and put the lid on it. Alrighty, I'll check on that in a couple days.